The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with the lovely Melanie Servia. This young lady started Partners in Grime May 2021. They serve the residential folk of Appleton, Wisconsin. And she is here today because not only is she in our program, but she is kicking ass and taking names. And this powerful young woman is young. I love having her on, A, because I just like her as a human, but B, very few of you are going to be like, I don't have the opportunities Melanie has, right? Like Melanie and I were talking before the podcast, like you can hear me blabbing or our coaches blabbing, go, well, they're different. They're in a different thing. They have these opportunities, blah, 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 blah. Melanie's just a young woman starting out. I don't think she went to college. I'll let her speak for herself. She's just brand new. So she doesn't have any opportunities or stuff that she wasn't, to the best of my knowledge, she wasn't born rich. Like her parents aren't entrepreneurs or like, so there's nothing you can be like, well, she has this unfair advantage and she's kicking ass and taking names. So, and some of you that are older go, well, shoot, if I got 20 years of experience on this young lady and she's kicking ass, maybe I could live a different life. That said, anything you want to add or correct to anything I've said so far before we jump in, Melanie?
I think you covered it pretty good.
All right, beautiful. So I actually got to enroll Melanie into our program. I actually got to talk to her, which I don't always get to do. And my memory of that call is thinking pretty highly of her. And at the very end, we just asked for her birthday because we sent a little gift when we can. And it was the day I talked to her on her birthday, if I'm remembering right. Is that correct?
It was the day after my birthday.
Okay, it's the day after. But yeah, so I'm like, oh, hey, happy birthday, right? And I don't think she gave me the year, which I didn't care about. I just wanted her birthday. But when someone turns it's their birthday that day, I'm like, how old are you? Which I typically try not to do with ladies, but I felt like Melanie was pretty cool. And she's like, just turned 21. And I was like, holy crap. I thought I was talking with this 30, 40-year-old, woman. She just had her crap together. So anyway, that's been my experience with Melanie. I'm dying to share with you. So I always like starting with what was driving you nuts. Where were you frustrated? Because that's probably going to be where a lot of the listeners are going, oh my gosh, that's me. I'm living that life. So talk to me about what was not working, what was frustrated, what made you reach out and go, I got to have a change.
Well, I felt like I was just kind of going in like this endless cycle of, physically working all day, every day, whether it was cleaning, driving, doing invoicing and all that extra stuff. And I actually hadn't really listened to the podcast too much, and I had just started listening to it. And it just really clicked. I was like, wow, this is finally something that I can, get into and get the answers on how, I can make my business, how I can work on my business versus in my business, and actually grow it too.
And I want to give a big encouragement to some of the listeners out there. Some of you have been listening for years and haven't taken any action. Shame on you. Take some action. Many just started. My least favorite thing is when myself or one of our coaches talk with somebody and we know we can change their lives and we'll invite them to work with us and they'll say something along like, well, I just started listening. I don't know. And it's like, their focus is in the wrong spot. The right spot is, if I've decided I need a new life, what specific actions am I going to do today? That's the right. And that's how Melanie showed up, right? Like, she's like, not like I listened to Mike. I've had all 800 podcasts. I read both his books. I moved in with him and his family for 6 years to make sure, like, I guess you could do all of those things. And no offense, you're still not gonna feel confident, right? I love that Melanie was like, it's not about Mike. It's never about Mike or Grow My Cleaning. It's never about us. It's about you. So she had the focus in the right spot of, I know I need to change. I know I need to change right now. I'm not going to tolerate this. I got to do something different. And she didn't have to go, I have to be an expert on Mike or the podcast or this. She's just like, I know the problem. I know I'm committed to solve it. I see a solution. I'm just going to go forward. Like, you can look and go, how dumb and naive. She needs it. Yeah. Okay, fine. And while you're thinking everything through, girlfriend will just have her business transformed. And it drives me nuts. I hear so many people that get in their own way. They fight for their own limitations and they're like, I can't. And they'll make one. If it isn't one thing, it'll be another. I'm in Canada. I'm not in Canada. I'm in America. I'm young. I'm a girl. I'm this, I'm that. And when we focus on that, it's like, as a coach, it's so frustrating. Because like, yeah, I guess if you're that committed to staying where you're at, there's really nothing we can do. But Melanie's like, I don't care. I got to make a change. What does that look like? And there was no like pre-programmed excuses of, I'm too young. I don't have the money. I haven't listened to 1,000 podcasts. I just, It was literally just, I have a problem. I don't want to have this problem anymore. I know if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'll keep getting what I've been getting. I'll do something different. There you go, guys. Write that down. That's it. That's the whole thing. Like, it's so simple. And guess what? Melanie happens to be kicking butt and taking names. What if she didn't? What if we were a big scam or she failed or whatever? Whoever knows, right? At least she freaking did something. And if at the end of that, she's like, well, that cost some time and money, but I still didn't get my result. I'll go try the next thing and the next thing. That person is going to fail regardless, is going to succeed regardless. The person that says, I'm never going to try, I'm going to never fail, that person is going to fail regardless. Well, it depends. If you're living the life that you want, you will continue living that. So if that life is failure, you're going to fail. I just can't jump up and down enough because we focus a lot on the program and all that sort of, which is great. We'll talk about that. But until you're like, I got to make a change, I'm not willing to stay the same. The program could be nothing. We could have the cure to cancer. If you're not willing to take it, doesn't matter. Right? If you're so committed to, I've got cancer, it can't be this easy, just one pill, or I don't have the money, or I can't take pills, or I haven't done the FDA research, blah, blah, blah. Obviously I'm not saying do zero research. You have to have some sort of idea that someone can help you. But I'd talk with Melanie for an hour. Like, it's almost like you do a free clean for somebody. The house looks immaculate. Like, I don't know. I've got to go online and see what other people think. It's like, I'm literally right here cleaning your house. Like, I don't know what else you could do. So, all right. Sorry, a little bit of a rant, but I'm just so proud of you, Melanie. And I'm sure it feels normal to you because that's who you are. It's not normal. Most of the people don't do that. They make up barriers. Whatever. I listen to 10 podcasts. I need 20. I've been cleaning for 1 year. I need 2. Whatever it is, they need more and more and more. And it's just an excuse to do nothing. Before we talk about the change, how's that? I'd love to just hear your opinion on anything or everything I've been talking about. How's that strike you?
I guess, you really said it perfectly of just how, I kind of heard that and I just knew that it was the right fit for me and that I needed to make that change. And the one thing that you said was that, it might not be, or it might be something that I'm used to doing. I feel like I am kind of the person to like jump into things, but this is probably like the best thing that I ever chose to jump into out of all of the crazy things I've done. But I definitely say this is the best one that, like you said, it's really important to be decisive and make some of those decisions quicker. So I'm definitely proud and thankful that I decided to do that.
So A, I love that. B, I will completely agree for those of you out there going, well, I'm not that person. I'm not a jumper inner. I got it. Like Melanie that's her personality. You don't have to be that, but it is a muscle, right? So maybe Melanie was just born and in her DNA was, when I get sick of a problem, I'm going to change it. And if I have to try 3 things, I don't care. And maybe I'm not saying this is the case. Maybe Melanie should do more research in life. Fine. So be it. You can swing the other way and go, well, I'm not like that. Melanie's naturally like that and I'm not. Well, that is a muscle you're going to need to build. If you want to make different things, you're going to have to make different decisions. And if your preference is, I always put it with a relationship, right? If you're with, and I'm guessing, and Melanie's a young gal, I don't know how many relationships she's had, but I'm guessing when she realizes the relationship she's in isn't healthy, isn't what she wants, she doesn't futz around. She doesn't do a bunch of research. She doesn't hang out for 6 years. She's like, hey, this ain't it. Freeze up, moving on, like just done. And for those of you like, well, that's not me. Fine. That's why you're getting what you've been getting. If you want different results, you're just gonna have to build that muscle. And to go, well, it comes easy for Melanie and it's going to be hard for me. Okay, well, there's gonna be other things that are hard for Melanie and come easy to you. None of that matters, right? So if it's about Melanie or our program or me, we've lost. It has to be, I want something different and I'm not good at change or going all in or doing something different without doing way too much research and I get, analysis of paralysis. Okay, well, that's part of the problem. Now we know, let's change. So you just got to be more committed to your new outcome than you are to your current state. So don't use Melanie's, I'm good at it naturally, as an excuse to go, oh, well, then I don't have to do it. I guess not. You're just going to get the results you've been getting. Melanie get her results. All right. So God bless for I love your let's do it. Let's go. And I'll be honest, I don't think Melanie was less afraid than everybody else. She just said, I'm going to listen to the adult mind. I got to make a decision here. I need a change. And I'm going to, hey, shut up, you in the back screaming. It's bad. It's scary. This is change. What if things go wrong? And all those things. She just said, yeah, I got it, but I got to change. I'm moving forward. So I don't want to speak for Melanie, but I don't think you just went in, everything is easy. I'm sure it was just as hard for you as everyone else. You were just more committed to a new life than you were to being the comfortable, bad life you had then. Fair? Or am I completely putting words in your mouth?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. And one thing I would add to it is just like you guys say is, even if you make a crappy decision, you just make another decision in the future to kind of fix that. So you don't have to put so much stress on the decisions that you make.
That's a writer downer, guys. Melanie nailed it. When you non-negotiable to be successful in business is to be decisive, period. If you're not willing to be decisive, get a job. Totally fine. I don't mean that as a jerky thing. Literally get a job, right? If you don't have a driver's license, you're not able to drive. That's fine. You can still be a great person. Don't apply for Uber. Like, it doesn't mean make you less than. It just means you're not a good Uber fit. If you're not willing to be decisive, don't be a business owner. You're going to lead customers and employees without decisiveness. You're not going to do it. And there's some people who are like, I'm naturally decisive. God bless. There's some people like, I'm going to have to build that muscle. Okay, well, that's the cost. So if you're willing to build it, go. And if you're scared, Melanie nailed it. You make a decision. And I wouldn't even characterize it as a bad decision. If you make a decision that doesn't get the results that you want, you make another decision to fix that decision. And if that doesn't get you the results you want, you just keep making decisions until you get the results that you want. And then you learn. I love that. Okay. So once you got over all that mess and you got in, believe it or not, that's only the first hard part. I wish I could say just deciding to do something. That is a big deal. I think people think it's 10%. It's like 70%. But there's still a 30% for what actually happened. So when you came in, what was your biggest fear? What was the biggest problem or stuck point you had in your business, and how did you address it?
Probably one of my biggest problems that happened during the program was I was used to having my cleaning team of 2 who were able to be on their own. And it was about like a week or 2 into the program that I found out that they were going to be moving states. So it kind of like I was like, I need to hire, like, sort of stuff kind of kicked in. So that kind of threw me off guard to, where my focuses were. But, I'm making it work. I have my hiring funnel going, and I'm working on getting those core value-based employees on the team.
I have a little inside information that Melanie actually had her first group interview yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Well, it wasn't my first one. It was I believe my 5th or 6th one, but I actually had 2 people show up, and I loved their energy. And one thing that they mentioned too is that they were grateful that they were speaking to like a real human being, and that they could tell that like I care about my team. And safety is really just a high priority, because when your employee or when your team members know that you care about them, then they're going to care about your business.
Guys, gals, I hope you're hearing this, right? Like, so many people come to us going, what question should I ask in the group interview? And that's fine. We'll talk about that. I'm not saying that's of no value. But if I gave you the perfect questions and the people you're talking with felt like you weren't a real person and you didn't care and you weren't really aligned with any values, you're just some corporate, robot, all the questions in the world ain't going to save you. What really happened with Melanie is she's like, I have my core values. This is who I am. I'm just going to be a beacon looking for those core values and attracting it. And maybe your questions were great. Maybe they were sloppy. It didn't really matter, because how you showed up, they're like, this is the person. Exactly what we talked about with that decisiveness. Like, this is I want to be on this person's team, right? And it's not just decisiveness, but that was one of many qualities that Melanie has as a recently 21-year-old gal. And I'm guessing the people that showed up for the interview, older than you, more experienced, whatever, should be like, why would they listen to me as a dumb young girl? I can't imagine you're interviewing infants. Were these people older, smarter, potentially richer than you, more experienced?
These 2, I believe they're around my age. However, my first group interview, I did have somebody who was, old enough to be my dad, which was like super cool. It was a cool experience, I should say. Just being able to ask him those questions, and it seemed like he did. I was being professional and everything, and I had a scheduled one-on-one interview, but he decided to go into CNA, which is perfectly okay.
So I hope my favorite part of that was he was old enough to be my dad. 92% of the 21-year-olds I know would have said, so it was terrible and I had to get over this and it was whatever. And Melanie was just, without even a beat, that was cool, which is the exact right way to do it. Because trust me, Melanie, blink or sneeze, you'll be 50, you'll be interviewing people old enough to be your kid. And if you start with this, that sucks, it's whatever, then that'll just be your thing. But if you go, that's cool. So every age that you're at, interacting with other people, and again, sex, gender, whatever, tall people, good looking people, whatever the case may be, I just love that. That was cool. That was a new experience. And again, the goal obviously isn't to hire everybody. The goal is to really get clear on who you are, who they are, and if it's a fit. And if the process got both of you to the point where he's like, I think this other thing would be a better fit, it's like, great, totally great. So, and Yeah, I love that energy. Okay, so the biggest thing, and by the way, I don't want to keep hammering this decision thing, but most people, the vast majority, and I think this is part of the reason I was so attracted to Melanie and excited to get to work with her. Most people, when they've got that team of 2 that's working, don't step out of their comfort zone and do the hard thing to get change. They wait until the people quit. And we'll still help them, but it's a son of a gun. Like, to get her from a standing start to what she needs to do, when those people quit right away, it's like, God bless it. If you just would have called, or, if you just, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time? Today. When's the worst time? Anytime after today. So I love, Melanie, that's very unusual of you, that you started to dig your well before you were thirsty, right? Most people get thirsty and go, I should start digging a well now. It's like, well, I guess, but a month ago probably would have been the right timing. So I just love that. Not that the people quit, but that you didn't show up after they quit when everything was in dire straits going, help me. You said, you didn't call drowning, asking us to save you. You called saying, I'm walking by the lake. Can you give me swimming lessons? And it's like, well, yeah, that's a much let's start there, for crying out loud. Okay. So for Cleaning Nation that's out there going, this is all great. I don't have the ability to get in the program. I don't take that many. I don't have the money. I'm too scared, whatever. What value can you give for those people that we're not, obviously the people we're able to serve personally is a small amount. The people listening is a large amount. What value can you give them in terms of mindset, in terms of what you can do, in terms of beliefs? You give value any way you see fit, young lady.
Well, I mean, one thing, just, from my personal experience with joining the program, I also wasn't financially able to do so. Luckily, I had a net 30 credit card that I was able to use to get into the program. And then, I just had to make sure that I was able to get a business loan to be able to cover it, which I did do. I successfully did that, which was just really fulfilling. And one of those things where you commit and then you figure it out, because I knew that it was the best thing for me and my business.
God bless it. I'm liking Melanie more and more as we go. So what I don't want you to write down is get a business credit card. That's not what we're talking about. No. What Melanie said is commit and then figure it out as you go. Every freaking business I've ever had that moment of, I got to make out of my comfort zone decision, whether it's, investing in $500,000 worth of equipment, taking on a multi-million-dollar account you're not sure you can handle. There's all sorts of times where you're going to have to step up or step out. And I just love what you said. So many people would have said, she literally said, I didn't have the money. And so many people said, so I guess I'm just stuck where I'm at. And it's so chicken and egg. They're like, I'm broke because I'm doing what I'm doing, but I can't change what I'm doing because I'm broke. That's a perfect recipe for being broke. Melanie going, I'm broke because I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm going to have to do something different. Well, that costs money. Well, then I guess I'll just figure out that. That's the real cost, right? The real cost is I'm just going to have to figure it out. And for some of you guys, it's going to be money. For some of you, it's going to be time. There's people out there listening. They're single moms with 3 kids. Maybe they got more money than Melanie, but time is a bigger thing. And they could go, you don't understand, Mike, I'm a mom with 3 kids and this business runs me ragged and I don't have any time to do anything. Jump into whatever you need to do and figure it out on the way down. And is it going to be unpleasant or might it be unpleasant for a couple of months? Yeah, it might be. But again, it's like, you want death by 1,000 cuts, or do you want to rip that freaking Band-Aid off and change your life? So I love that, Melanie, and hopefully you're feeling her energy. Like I hate to keep hogging on the age thing. I just talked to so many young people and older people. Melanie, you are so mature for your age of just how you kind of roll with stuff. Like, you just see it with, this is what I need. There were some, I don't want to say objections. There were some realities I had to deal with, and I dealt with them, but never was it, well, I guess I can't have the future I want because I don't have money. I'm too young. I'm whatever. Again, one excuse is as good as another if you don't want to do something. I just love that it really didn't matter what the excuse was. You were just like, yeah, but I need something different. So whatever the problem was, the answer was, yeah, but I want something different. So I'm going to have to do something different. I just freaking love that. All right. So what, just want to give as much value. I'm trying to think of the best question to give as much value as possible. So what was the biggest problem I think you had was the hiring. You've kind of got your funnel going. Any other things that you were afraid to do and did, or any other kind of nuggets of wisdom or value you can give to, again, the folks that are just listening and we're not going to be able to personally help?
One thing that, kind of, I guess I struggled with, but I'm still kind of working towards, is just making sure that, not necessarily like putting a brand to it, but being more comfortable with, instead of just making a Facebook post talking about how I'm looking for pain conversations, maybe I should make a video of me, personally doing that, because that might connect with the community more. So I guess just kind of being a little bit more resourceful and where am I going with that? Like being more resourceful to be able to go outside of my comfort zone with like social media and stuff like that. And having you guys and your help along the way, where it's like I don't have to be like, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. But it's like I can just open a help ticket and ask Mike or Jared and be like, hey, I have this crazy idea. What do you think about that? And then they kind of lay it all out to like, oh, hey, that sounds great. Maybe you should focus on that when, stuff is running a little bit more smoothly. But here's something that you could do right now that will still be effective in that area.
So let me give Cleaning Nation kind of to what I heard. There's two things I picked out of that I think will be helpful while telling Melanie why she's great. So the first thing is, so many of the people that we talk to, and I love you showing up on this, Melanie, because I've spent, I would say, hours at this point with Melanie, not on this podcast. And this is the Melanie I know and love. Like, this isn't some like, sometimes, sometimes, not always, rarely, but people that are in the program I know and love, and they come on the podcast and they get all like, oh shit, I gotta act a certain way. I gotta be like professional. This is the same Melanie that I know. So either she's faking it to me too for all the time I've known her, or this is just her. And I want to encourage everybody. That's a big gift, right? A lot of times we go, oh, when I go to business, whether it's an interview or being on social media or making a video or something I'm uncomfortable with Melanie, her energy wasn't terrified. It was just, what are you going to do? This is what I need. And it's not something I particularly feel great about, but I need to do it. So I'll just do it. And if I need help, I'll get help. Like that's such a just low energy, as opposed to, you don't understand, Mike, I'm terrified of the video. When I was young, my mom videoed me and just crazy crap. And maybe Melanie has some of that crazy crap. She's like, that's not really relevant here. This is what I want. This is what I need. So I'm going to go do it. So the first encouragement I want to give to everybody and tell Melanie what a rock star she is. When people are like, man, you're pretty good at the podcast, how do you do that? Literally, it's like, I just am who I am. I don't put on some sort of fake crap, because if I did, y'all would see through it in 2 seconds. And then I don't have to prepare, be this special certain guy that's got this persona. I can just Mike doing the best I can. Melanie doing the best she can. That's very attractive to people. So show up like Melanie and just be like, when you get on a podcast, whether it's yours or someone else's, you're on social media, you're in home with a client, just be you. And it sounds easy. Like that's it. That's it. It's a lot harder than it looks. I just want to encourage you on that. Second thing is, I love that Melanie's super coachable and also knowing what questions to ask. So the key thing that you can take away is, she's like, I got 1,000 questions. And I think that's part of what we run into problems with this podcast. You guys listen to 1,000 podcasts, which is great. You want all the information, but sometimes they contradict. This guy, I say something different than somebody else. And maybe he's smart or she's smart. Maybe I'm smart, but just, we got too many cooks in the kitchen. So we can get overwhelmed. But Melanie did a great job of, I kind of asked some smart questions about what's the number one thing I can be doing right now, right? There's an infinite number of ways you can invest your time and money in your own business. And say half of them are good, half of them bad. Well, even of the half of infinite, still way more than we can possibly do. So Melanie starts going, well, I'll just find people that know. And part of the value is not just how to do what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing? So I want to encourage you guys, A, show up with that real, like, this is just who I am. A, it takes so much pressure off. And B, again, I'm so excited to watch Melanie grow. You're going to attract a beautiful team. The people that work with you as client, you've got just a great little spirit, and it's just very attractive. And you're ahead of so many people that are older that I think have more years of shut up and sit down and be professional and act a certain way. I think you're young enough. You're like, this is just me. This is all I have. And it's like, yes, hold on to that. Don't get older and like forget that. Just like, I'm just Melanie. I'm the age I am. I'm the gender I am. I'm the whatever I am. This is it. And will some people go, I'm not working for this 21-year-old. Yeah, they did it to me when I was 23-year-old. It's fine. And will some people go, I love this. I can't find this anywhere. This is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. So A, I love that. And then B, Cleaning Nation and Melanie, keep asking those questions, not just how do I do this thing I want to do, but the harder question, the more valuable question, is this the thing I should be doing right now? And if you don't feel like you're the best to answer that, get some help, whether it's us or somebody else. Find a coach or somebody that knows what should you be working on, and pay them in hugs or money or whatever you need to do. Find someone that can help you walk through that. And I'd rather see you do an adequate job of executing the right thing than the best job of executing some dumb thing that's never going to work, right? And the only way you can do that is make sure you ask those questions. And again, the coachability, right? A lot of people just be like, this is what I want to do, and I'm all in. And that's it. They don't really ask questions. Melanie's humble enough to go, got a lot of ideas, some of which are great, some of which are not great, but I can really only implement 1 or 2 right now. Of the great ideas, what's the best 2 I should be working on? It's a beautiful question. That's without that question, there's not a lot of ways to succeed. If you ask that question, answer it properly, even if your execution is mediocre, you're still going to be fine. All right. Any last words before we call it, Ms. Servia?
I guess one thing I just want to say is, make sure to, take that step, whether it's joining the clean profit method with Mike and everyone on the team, or if it's just, like you said, getting another coach, just take that step to make your life better. Because if you're sitting there miserable, running around, feeling like you're losing control of your life, you got to do something about it. It's not going to change on its own.
If I could improve on that, I would, but I can't. So I'm calling it. Cleaning Nation, listen to your new friend, Melanie. See you next time.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now. 602-932-6431. Give me a text. Say hey. Can't wait to meet you.